So
if you would like Pete Bagley in your living room, taking you through some wines, Pete Bagley _ drinks consultant. All the details are on the other videos, and they'll be on this video as well. Give him a shout. Get him in your living room. Have a little party with him. He dresses
Everybody
up.
needs me in the living room. You know,
he's got different hats.
A hat for every occasion, a different outfit for every occasion. Boom shakalak. You'll love
it. We'll get Pete on there.
On a train, in a bus, in a car, on the way to your job. All alone with your kids, with your wife, or with your dog. You can listen anywhere, you can listen everywhere. To the Philip Maloney podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the latest installment of the Philip Maloney podcast. Here we are at number 3 of 3 for our Glenwood journey over to South Africa. Franz Hook with my good friend Peter Bagley.
Good evening and happy St. Patrick's Day, of course.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you, yeah.
Thank you very much. And yeah, this is the third podcast, which is great and it's been a great honour. And it's been a great honour to go over the Glenwood Massive, as it's very dear to me.
They've been really good to us.
They've been brilliant to us, and they are a delightful vineyard, which is fantastic. And this time, we're going Shiraz. So just a little bit about Shiraz before we kick on. Shiraz and Syrah, you may see as well, are the same grapes. Generally, Syrah is known more kind of in France. So you'll never see Shiraz in France. It'll always be known as Syrah, and that's Syrah. Shiraz, you will see across the world. I mean, big ones come from Australia. You'll know quite a lot. There'll be some of the big brands do quite a lot for Shiraz there. South Africa. The good thing is with Glenwood, they do both kind of types. So Shiraz tends to be more elegant and a little bit more kind of cooler climate and a little bit more kind of racy, whereas the Shiraz tends to be more bold, big fruits, big numbers kind of thing. So just a little bit of context. Not always the case, but the great thing is with Glenwood, you get the two expressions. Now the Syrah is a lot more expensive because it is the Grand Duc, which is basically the highest, best cuvee they have. But no, tonight we're going to be trying 2 of their little selection. One of them being the Save Our Rhinos, which I will. There we go. Now, Save Our Rhinos is a fantastic little number. Shiraz 2018. We'll go on to the more dynamics of it, but let's go into the wine itself in terms of all the profits go to a fantastic charity called Rhinos. Let me just make sure I've got it right. Rhino Revolution NPO. Now, so all the profits go to that, which is a great thing. 80% of the world's rhino population is in South Africa. That's that's massive, and unfortunately they are dying out at a
there's a lot of poaching and stuff like that going on, right, on the game reserves and things.
Absolutely, and this is a great show, and it's just a wonderful thing to so you're buying some lovely wine, and it's also helping to in conservation and preservation, which is always good.
Happy days.
Happy days indeed. So so where do we go? We basically this is $12.99 from Hard to Find Wines, and obviously you've got your discount code. So
Andreas 10.
Andreas 10. I hope you've all had a go. And so I know you've got some in your glass. I'm going to. I went a little bit posho and stuck it in a decanter. However, do want to say, even if you've not got a decanter, get a Pyrex jug, get any kind of jug, whack it in there, and then literally have it for about an hour if you can. Just give some aeration and just gives allows all the aromas to flow out. So
once you get oxygen in there, it really changes the wine, right?
It really does, absolutely. And especially young wine. Sometimes with white wine you want to drink it fairly, without too much aeration. However, a nice red, you kind of want a little bit of that. So yeah, I mean it's the more kind of fruity big bomb bagage, as I like to call it. But basically, what we've got there is a bit of structure. So what's really nice about this is it's basically aged in second refill French oak barrels. Now that's good in two ways, because it means that it's not over oaky, but it means that because of the 18 months, it's had a nice bit of time to open up and give some of that, not only fruit qualities, but some of the kind of more tertiary notes and a little bit like extra complexion as well. So
yeah, I've always I've always liked Merlots and Riojas and things like that, and I've always sort of steered clear of Shiraz normally. So I'm really interested to get in and give these guys a really good go.
Absolutely. And I think, like with everything, I would say is like our palates, even if you don't like it, that's or should we say, you can. What's the great thing with great vineyards is, even if you're not keen on the grape, you can see where the quality is. And so even if it's not your taste profiles, you'll go, actually, okay, it's not my taste profile. However, I'm loving the kind of the quality to it. So yeah, well, hopefully you'll love both.
Straight away, there's a real mineral quality to it. So yeah, that's my initial. I mean, on the nose, it's really nice. It's really fruity.
Yep. What's really nice about this is it's got almost kind of what we call a Rhonal quality. So Rhonal is basically an area in France, and classic numbers or be Chateauneuf de Pape. Now, and also, Côte Rôtie, Hermitage, Saint-Joseph, things like that. However, so classic with that and that blend and blends with that are kind of white pepper. There's a big fruit, white pepper, slightly smoky as well. You can imagine this being absolutely amazing outdoors on with a barbecue.
Yeah, really herby meat.
Absolutely, yeah. Basically, it's got that lovely herbaceous notes, and it's got
springs to mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost like chimichurri.
Oh, yeah.
Strips of beef.
Absolutely, and definitely kind of that kind of classic beef. Kind of, and even I would even go so far to say a little bit of lamb with kind of that kind of herby crust on top. And then let's be honest, the world food and whatnot. So again, nice hearty kind of dishes. Again, kind of not only mushrooms and whatnot, but kind of not nice hard cheeses. So I'd stick away from the kind of the more blue cheeses, because of not always going with it.
Because of the tannins, right?
The tannins, absolutely. Now, what's really nice about this, it has integrated tannins. So there are people who will say that tannins, if a wine's got tannins, I don't like it. Well, most good wines will have a level of tannins. It's just whether they're integrated and how they make your mouth feel. Thankfully for this, it's fresh. It's quite silky, and so you're not getting that kind of thing with an overly tannic wine. So again, it's a little bit like when a wine description says this has tannins in it, don't be scared off, especially if it says it has smooth and silky,
Right.
which this does. And yeah, I mean, what I'd say is it's a young wine. It's it's not that young compared to some of the wines that you get in the supermarket, but 3 years old. It's still fresh as a daisy. And yeah, get on it.
It's a very nice. It's got a great colour to it.
Mm.
I mean, the first thing that I noticed when I poured that out was, it's got a really sort of pinky hue to the in that redness there as you swill it. There's definitely a nice sort of like a pinky rose tint to it, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
On the nose, it's full of fruits for me, and I mean, there's sort of a little whiff of sophistication in there. There's you can feel that there's some nice little undertones sitting on the nose, and as far as the taste goes, it's perfectly reasonable.
Absolutely, and I think for a wine that one helps the Rhinos, secondly, is a $12.99. Okay, so in your kind of supermarkets, you starting to go a little higher, but you're going to be hard pushed to get a better wine for that, and with the discount code, that's a whole different ball game. Absolutely. But it shows the quality there, which I love, and we'll kind of go on a little bit like the Chardonnay. It shows the kind of terroir as well of the So with Glenwood, which is lovely, is it's kind of in its own little microclimate, so it has kind of cool air rushing through the valleys. And it's got hills and mountains either side, so it has some like really hot heat, but it also has some lovely kind of breezes coming through, especially at night. So yeah, these are picked at the optimum thing, and for the next wine you'll see even more and a real kind of step up as well in both quality and joy. But anyway,
it'd be good to see that. Cheers, pal.
Chin chins. Slancha.
So, a couple of things then. Obviously, we have got a bottle of wine to give away. So, we're going to be doing that towards the end.
Yeah. This is the bottle.
Yeah. So, we've got a nice 2015 Chardonnay, courtesy of Hard to Find Wine. So, thank you very much for that very kind offer of the prize there. So, to all the viewers, what I have is a list of names of all the people who have participated, supported, and been on with the Philip Maloney podcast. So quite a few names there. So very, very, very pleased, very humbled for all the supports, as I'm sure you are as well, Pete.
Absolutely. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's liked, shared, commented, given some kind of either opinion or not. We're in the early stages, and it's always good to have that feedback. And also, it's just nice to kind of share something with other people, especially during these difficult times. It's a good celebration to say, look, try it.
It's been a real joy actually to spend some time with you, Pete. Especially, I mean, we did the whiskey and chocolate. Yep. Now we've done the wine. Who knows what the next installment is going to be on our journey together? But I really can't wait. So with that said, should we get on to the next?
We shall indeed, absolutely. So the next wine is the Glenwood Vigneron Selection 2018. So there we go. That's the Delight. Lovely. And one has, another decanter. So here we go.
Lovely.
So you can see in the colour itself, it's a deeper, richer, denser. Now,
Yeah, I see that.
the first one, the Save Our Rhinos, was aged 18 months. This is only actually aged another 2 months, 20 months. And again, in second fill thing, 16.99 at Hard to Find Wines. And then, but with the Vigneron selection, basically you've got a lot of very kind of specifically picked grapes. So you know the what they call the selection is a lot more tighter. It's only picking out the best fruits, and basically what you get, just from thing a lot more kind of complex, you've got quite a different feel, both in the aromas, a lovely freshness, but also kind of an elegance to it. It's not just a fruit bomb in your face. It's something you just want to kind of swirl, smell, chill the ale with, and then deep dive into.
Yeah, no, I get all of that. I get that. It's what's been really good in this journey is where we had the obviously the very first wine tasting that we did was with the Merlot,
yeah,
and the
Sauvignon Blanc blend, the Bordeaux blend.
Yeah, and with that Merlot, as it was opened, and the later you drunk it, almost the more complex it became.
Yeah.
So that was a nice thing to have in comparison with the Sauvignon Blanc at the time. Then we did the 3 Chardonnays, which initially I thought, well, why would we want to do 3 of the same grapes? But because we had different ages, it all made complete sense because they were all miles from each other. The younger ones were nice and crisp and sharp. The 2018 had its own complexities to it, and the color change, etc., more yellow to it. Then we had the Star Prize, which was the 2015, which was incredibly deep and rich and full of just so much difference between the the 2020 Chardonnay or whatever.
Absolutely.
Now having 2 Shirazes next to each other, like you say, they're only 2 months apart, as it were. But we've got this Vigneron region.
Vigneron selection. So
yeah. So finding those differences now between these 2 Chardonnays is actually quite it's quite nice to do. I might have to actually just go back and forth with a bit of wine between the 2.
Absolutely, and this is the joy of wine tasting, and it's a joy of wine tasting on different levels. So one, having the same grape. And I mean, what is definitely worth doing is not only doing it from the side. If there's differences in the same vineyard between, we're different either. So this is the same vintage, but one is a step up, and is down there to be a step up. So the selection is a lot more rigid and a lot more kind of stronger in terms of what DP is going for. Whereas that's not to say that the Save Our Rhinos is in any way bad. It's just it's for a different kind of market in terms. It's for that kind of lighter style. It's for that. Doesn't matter whether you want to age it, whatnot. You can just crack on. This again, thankfully it's right now, but this is something that will age beautifully for the next 8, maybe even 10 years.
It's got a really nice. The Vigneron has a really nice sort of Christmassy feel to it. As far as as far as that sort of
something that I'm
almost
really
got like
getting from it is kind of almost like the kind of black cherries, the kind of bramble, the kind of almost damson kind of fruits.
yeah. There's like a slight cinnamon
Yeah,
note that I
yeah,
can get from that,
yeah.
which is really really nice.
And again, this is like what I love about this wine is that it's a lovely drink to have just by itself. So it's a bangaroo kind of straight out, no worries, sessional, but obviously, it's one that is, to be savoured, and it's not one that you just want to kind of glug and forget. You kind of want to savour and just drink it all in, like a summer's day, drink it in sunshine.
Drink it in sunshine. Yeah, absolutely. That's and on St. Patrick's Day, I think I'm not sure these bottles are even going to see the light of day.
Probably not sunshine. I think absolutely. And do you know what? What's lovely to hear is from somebody who slightly fear and trepidation and coming in, going, "Oh, I'm not really like Shiraz before." How, and obviously, we want to be authentic. If you don't like something, it's better you saying, kind of, actually, that's not my bag. You can, but with this one, it's there in your face. It's there for you to see that actually it's like. Ooh.
I'd like to, keeping integrity in it. I would go for the Merlot.
Yeah.
Over the Shiraz. That's my.
Absolutely.
Because I like wine to be a little bit more, I guess a little bit more simple.
Yep.
And I think that Merlot delivers that for me. It's a real run of the mill type of wine. You open the bottle, you give it an hour or so, and then you've got yourself a very drinkable bottle of wine, normally time and time again. Absolutely. So with Shiraz, sometimes it can be too minerally, it can be too harsh in some of its notes. So
I'd say that a classic thing with, and it's not all kind of Australian, so let's not kind of do the kind of big stereotypical big brush, but there are a lot of kind of what we call big hitters, should we say, in Australia. So there's quite a few that will have like jammy kind of overripe fruits, right. Which if you like jam, it's great. If you don't, then you're not going to like it, and it can be kind of, and if they're not done right because of the climate being so kind of stark and so kind of sunny, then if they're not at the top of the game, sometimes it can come across as burnt fruit. Similarly with South African wine, because the high temperatures does mean that you have to select well with the grapes. So and you know what, all I'd say is for all kind of all wines, try not to just think about one, whatever's the fad at the moment, no harm in trying them if you've not tried them, but, try all different wines.
Yeah, it's a genuine pleasure, especially, I can't imagine sort of 18 to 25-year-olds going, oh, do you know what, I must go and have a wine. But as I get a bit older, I really like the complexities of it. I like the fun of it, to sit around and have a glass of wine, etc.
And again, what's funny is
I don't do it a lot, but
absolutely. But again, what's interesting is, just seeing in friends' pubs and whatnot is, yes, people have drinks in different ways. People will interact with drinks in different ways, and all those stereotypes of whiskey being for old people, old men and whatnot. The wine, rosé just being and white being just for ladies, and it's all nonsense, because actually, if it's good wine, and to be honest, just get in it. And to be honest, thankfully, as the world progresses, in theory, not always, but as the world progresses, people's palate changes as well. And that, it's the whole kind of culinary stuff within the UK, historically, at one point, was pretty bad. Now, the myriad of many different cultures, many different, chefs, many different influences and stuff, technology and foraging, all means that we actually get some really good produce. We get some lovely, English wine is another,
I was just about to say, we need to try some English wines as well. We definitely have to have a little look at some English wines.
Well, absolutely. Well, yes. Wine GB is, big, at the moment. There's a whole kind of thing on Instagram, Wine GP, big shout out there. In terms of, because where I am in fact, where you are in Bays, the old kind of Hampshire Massive, the Sussex Massive, have phenomenal. Just up the road we've got Ridgeview, wonderful. Down the road from yourself, you've got Coates and Seeley, absolutely amazing vineyards.
Oh, I'll have to go and check those out.
Yeah, so Coates and Seeley, kind of Whitchurch area, so. Okay. Beautiful, yeah, and again, it's just trying different things, and going, okay, now sometimes price tags can put people off, and so yeah, it's just if it's more than you'd normally spend but want to try it, either try before you buy. And a lot of vineyards, especially like British vineyards and whatnot, go there and try it out. If not, try and come on tastings, get in touch, see what people are putting out there, and see if the flavour profiles fit what you like.
Yeah, what tastings are about at the moment?
So, so there's a couple of big ones, like, in terms of shops, so kind of, in London, you've got Hedonism Wines, doing online kind of wine tastings and whiskey tastings. You've got up in the Midlands, you've got Nichols and Perks, you've got Loki Wines. They're all kind of doing different kind of online events. Check out, literally go online, check out kind of online wine tastings,
Well, you could also check out Pete Bagley _drinks consultant, right?
Absolutely.
On Instagram, if you want to have a wine tasting.
To do a little wine tasting.
Yeah.
If
you would like Pete Bagley in your living room, taking you through some wines, Pete Bagley _drinks consultant. All the details are on the other videos, and they'll be on this video as well. Give him a shout. Get him in your living room. Have a little party with him. He dresses
Everybody
up.
Needs me in the living room.
He's got different hats.
A hat for every occasion, different outfit for every occasion. Boom shakalak. You'll love
it. We'll get Pete on there. So what do you reckon, Pete? Pete, look, couple of really nice wines. We're going to keep it short and sweet because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Of course.
And I've got a group of guys to have a drink with. You've got a group of guys to have a drink with as well.
We've all got people to have drinks with, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but what we also have to do before we do end this podcast,
absolutely,
is we have got some lovely people who have been interacting with the podcast, and we are going to. The good thing about this little app is once it names somebody, clean. Once it picks somebody at random, completely at random, it can say their name as well. So I'm going to put it into the mic to be able to say their names. So when I press, there's a button somewhere. Choose names. Right. Okay. So this is it. As soon as I press that blue button, it's going to choose someone's name at random.
Names in the hat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. We went on the tech. We went on the tech vibe.
Yeah. You just need a hat for your phone. That's all.
Okay. Right. We have a name.
James Ward.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
There we go.
Congratulations, James Ward.
James Wardy boy, the Wardster. Bless his little socks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, sunshine.
Pete, is that someone you're familiar with? Do you know who that is?
I do know who that person is.
Can you get their contact
Mr. Ward,
details?
for all your support.
Lovely. Well, James, congratulations. Thank you for your support. Thank you to everybody else as well for your support. There will be more opportunities. But also, if you want to go to Hard to Find Wines, www.htfwines.co.uk, type in the promo code Andreas10, and that will give you an exclusive 10% discount from the Philip Maloney podcast, courtesy of Pete Bagley and his connections there through Hard to Find Wines. And enjoy yourselves. Have a lovely bottle of wine discounted, on us. We're not going to pay for it, but you can you can get this.
All we'll say is have a look and crack on. Fantastic, and it's been lovely doing the Glenwood podcast with you, and obviously onwards and upwards, and let's see what the next little bagage will be.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Goodbye from the Philip Maloney podcast.
Goodbye.
On a train, in a bus, in a car, on the way to your job. All alone with your kids, with your wife, or with your dog. You can listen anywhere. You can listen everywhere. To the Philip